And when a man wants to play on your good heart, when he wants to use your innocence against you, when he wants to leverage the fact that he knows you would never do some of the things that he know he's capable of, turn that against you, which is crazy because it's like if you have a woman that wouldn't play in your face, if you have a woman that would not embarrass you, try you, disrespect you in any kind of way, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just appreciate that? Why wouldn't you just love on a woman like that, right? But unfortunately, common sense ain't so common. So when a man is accusing you and blaming you of BS, like stuff that you know that you didn't do, stuff that you would never do, stuff that you know that you've given him no reason to think that you would even might do. Like before he came along, if he was never born, the things that he's accusing you of are so far from your character, it kind of throws you off whenever it happens. I'm gonna tell you something. That is an indictment on him. That is an 100% reflection of something that's going on with him. Now, does it automatically mean he's doing what he accused you of? Not necessarily. We're gonna get to that. It don't. We're gonna get to that. But it does mean there's something. He has some type of throw a blanket accusation out and there's nothing behind it. There's no reason because like it's just something he just thought of today because he was reading a book or watching TV or something like that. It always means something. So matter of fact, put I down in the chat if you've ever been accused by a man of doing some nonsense. What's up, Michelle Morgan? So you got my message. Put I down in the chat if you ever gotten accused of doing some nonsense and you knew it had nothing to do with you. And maybe even later on it was validated that it had nothing to do with you. Put I down in the comments. I want to see if I'm talking to anybody. Put I down in the comments if you've ever been accused. I don't care if it's betrayal. I don't care if it's stealing. I don't care if it's disrespecting him. I don't care if it's wanting one of his friends. I don't care what it is. Not telling him something in the past or that you've done in the past or going somewhere where you know you didn't go. Put I down in the chat if you've ever been accused, because look, this is more and more, especially as we're in this age of, reputation is everything. Reputation is not everything. Your character is everything. Reputation is what people perceive of your character. That and some people, they only need to hear something negative about you to run with that because they wanted something negative to believe about you anyway. Now, let me give a disclaimer. What's up, Mama and me? I see y'all coming in. When a man is suspicious, get confused and you thinking, well, if he ever accuses me of something that I didn't do, he's automatically got this agenda, because there's 5 reasons why a man will accuse you of complete nonsense, right? There are 5 reasons. But if it's something that's legit, I'm going to tell you, I can tell you the quick way. We ain't got to take forever to get there. If a man truly suspects that you're on some BS, that you're doing something wrong, and maybe you are innocent, you're going to see him, first off, let you know this, right? Without accusation. There's a difference between communicating and accusation. Let you know, hey, this is what I feel. This is what I'm thinking could be the case. I'm not saying it's you. I'm not saying that you're doing this thing automatically, but I want to let you know what it is I'm sensing. That's the first thing. The second thing he's going to be able to do is clarify what particular thing is signaling whatever it is and what he needs to see going forward. Now, this should go both ways. I'm not here to tell you that if a man suspects you of something, you automatically need to jump to he's manipulating, gaslighting, or got some nonsense going on. That's not the case. A man can be reasonably suspicious and you honestly just not be doing anything wrong or feel like you're doing anything wrong, think that you're showing any red flag. All right, cool. Now we got the disclaimer out the way. Let's talk about the reasons why a man will accuse you of complete BS. Yes, the first reason, and this is pretty much obvious, so we're not going to stay here long, is because he's guilty of something. And of course, when a man is guilty of something, his own paranoia is eating him up. So he needs something to kind of rest on. He needs a little soft place to land whenever he goes to sleep with all of those demons that he's opened the door to from doing whatever he's doing. And he'll do that by accusing you. Sometimes a man will try to force himself to think that you've done something wrong. Like if he can accuse you, maybe you'll be so thrown off, you'll look guilty, and therefore he can say, well, yep, I knew it. Oh, because honestly, you're thrown off that he would even come at you crazy and say you did whatever. It's not automatically betrayal, again, that you trying to insult him, that you posted something something and it has something to do with him. Again, he should be able to clarify exactly why he feels the way that he feels. But if it's just something blanket, if it's something so abstract, y'all ain't going through nothing. Like, it's so bizarre that he's accusing you of this. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's one indication that he's as a bad person, either trying to force you to trip up and maybe confess to something else. Like, he would feel better if you were to say, I did do something wrong. Because a lot of people cannot both operate in their truth of being trash while knowing that they're doing this to somebody who don't deserve it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Phyllis Hyman says she's giving up on love. Don't give up. Don't give up. So I'm gonna give y'all some more. We're gonna get into it. There's another reason why. And it's two of these I know I've never heard anybody talk about. Why a man will accuse you of absolute bizarre nonsense ain't got nothing to do with you. And I need y'all to understand this, because sometimes y'all go back and forth trying to tussle for your reputation, for him to understand that you didn't do nothing wrong. That man know you ain't do nothing wrong. He probably sabotage him. If a man has already started, a man already got his eye on another woman. Say if a man already either got his eye on another woman or just feeling like he can't continue on in the relationship because it's requiring him to be faithful. He's never been faithful before. It's requiring him to provide, and he know his money going low, whatever the case may be. Then I've seen guys do that, by the way. I've seen guys sabotage their way out of a relationship because honestly, they were going broke. And instead of saying to the woman, I can't afford to do some of the things that you're used to me doing, they just start sabotaging. You probably, are you over here doing this? I bet you last month whenever you went out with your home, really probably on some dudes, huh? A dude will sabotage his way out of letting you know that honestly his money ain't right. Anything that he's in shame about, anything that he's not quite proud of, that man will sabotage if he's not, again, in alignment with his truth that, hey, right now, it's just not what it used to be. Right now, I'm not okay. If he's not confident that you'll love him anyway, he'll come up with something. He'll come up with something that you're doing, and it's not necessarily that you're doing it or you're even signaling to him that you're doing it, but this will be his alibi. If he can get his money back up, well, you know what, man, I was under the impression, and maybe it's because I've been through some things, maybe it's just some stuff that you was doing, but I admit though I was wrong and you weren't wrong, and now I'm ready to pick back up. Because his whole time, his confidence came from the money that he was able to spend or being able to provide or whatever the case may be. And in this one, I almost, to an extent now, to a small extent, I have some sympathy for brothers in this situation, because the world does say to men that we're not that valuable if we can't provide. However, it's not about how we feel. It's about what we do about what we feel that separates us. Yes. We're less valuable, we're less of a man if we ain't got money. Okay, cool. But if that man can't with integrity say, I'm gonna let you have the opportunity to choose how you want to move forward, if it's with me through this hard rough patch financially, cool, or not, I'm gonna give you that choice. But then there's some men who would say, I would rather just sabotage, blame you for something, criticize you, something, make up some BS reason to leave the relationship, take a break from the relationship, etc. And that way I can now get my money back right, and I never have to face you as a man who doesn't have money. And that all comes down to his own integrity, his own commitment to his word, and his own belief that, you know what's for him is for him. That's another reason. Again, do not personalize whenever you get accused for nonsense. And I separated this for those joining in. Do not think this is just every accusation or suspicion. If your man is coming to you in a healthy way, a respectful way, and able to qualify why he believes that something is amiss or something going on, or something is having him feeling kind of insecure strictly as it pertains to the relationship, that's not who I'm talking about. And I say this because I want y'all to be able to make the right decision. So backstory, the young lady that came to me, she watched my last masterclass, the 7 traps empaths should never ignore, right? I dropped so much game in that one. That's one of my favorite masterclasses, and it's free, by the way. Anyway, she asked the question at the end because I open up for questions. D, how do I respond to my man whenever he's coming at me about stuff that I feel insulted that he would even accuse me of doing? How do I respond to that without making the situation worse? So I responded to her and you get some more clarifying context or what have you. And honestly, there was absolutely nothing she was actually doing, but simply by being accused, he had already achieved his goal of wrapping her up, getting her to entertain that maybe she's doing something wrong, because what it did was it set up the next step. This particular one was for her now. I'm giving y'all all the reasons. This one pertained to her. He was setting her up to forgive him on the back end because he was able to convince her that he was under the belief she was doing something wrong. And by convincing her that he was under the belief that she was doing something wrong, by the time he confessed that he actually did something wrong, it felt like, hey, this zeroes out, this evens out. At the time, I thought you were doing me wrong, so I didn't. So a lot of times anyway, people can concede that if one person is doing wrong, the other person doing wrong, ain't nobody perfect. We just wipe our hands and we move forward. But the workaround to that is, I believe you're doing something wrong. I believe that you playing in my face. I believe that you out here running the streets. I believe that when you went on that trip, you did X, Y, and Z. That's why, and it's a way to explain away his nonsense of now. And what you'll see is a lot of times, a guy that paranoia, he's fighting with that guilt. You know, I talked about this before. A lot of people say a man don't know what he got until it's gone. I actually think a man does know what he got way before it's gone. But shortly after he's done something that sets in motion the likelihood that what he has is going to be gone. Time, and I'll say it again here, it's just like whenever you break something in the house and you know mama gonna whoop you, it's like you don't take the whooping for you to quite understand what you just did. It just takes you doing it and saying, oh man, this is, because it's something in us that knows what's done in the dark is going to come to light. We don't know, at some point this is likely going to come. Otherwise, we wouldn't get paranoid. That's the expectation that what we did in the dark is going to come to light. So what a lot of times a guy will do to try to cope with that is he'll try to set up his exit plan, not necessarily just from the relationship, but his exit plan from what, while maintaining what it is he already knows he just set in motion to possibly lose. And so what he'll do is create a cancellation, a zeroing out of, you know, I did this and so did you, so we ain't perfect. Or I thought you did. And if you buy it, you're more likely to forget, because now you're going to put it in context that he did what he did, but it was under the impression that I was somebody else. I was a different version of me. He didn't do what he did to my truth of being a good woman and holding him down and cooking his meals and doing whatever sexually or whatever. He was heinous. So maybe I can work with that. Long as he don't get the wrong perception next time. Long as I do my part to reassure him, so that way that he doesn't feel like I'm doing something wrong. Which brings me to the next point. Another reason why a guy will falsely accuse you of some BS that he does is because there's an insecurity there that needs constant reassurance. You said my ex did exactly that, sabotaged the whole relationship with projecting and blaming. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know what I'm talking about. Especially when I do the master classes, I do these free master classes. One, because I'm able to go in depth. I'm able to go much more in depth than I can here on social media. And I always get feedback from you guys on the master class, and I can see each and every question that you submit. And every single time it validates exactly. I'm a man. I've been on both sides of the track. I know what I'm talking about, y'all. I've been on and as your big brother, I'm only trying to use it to help equip you so that you don't get played with. This free game right here. I don't need your money. This free game. Anyway, the reassurance play. A man will blame you because he wants you to reassure him against that void, that inferiority that he's battling about what he's not worthy of. You see, you have a lot of men, either unhealed from a past relationship or unhealed from childhood trauma, that communicated to them they're not worthy of a woman of your caliber. And so what a man will do is, when I says shift blaming, Jennifer says shift blaming, exactly. What a man will do is he'll put it on you to reassure him without saying to you, baby, I need you to love on me a little bit more in this particular area. As a man, this is what I feel an evolved man will do. This is what I feel like even an alpha male would do. I know a lot of people think alpha males don't have any insecurities. I think anybody can have an insecurity. Again, it's not about what you feel. It's about what you do about what you feel. especially as a man. We have to manage our emotions. We can have them, but they can't have us. Whole different conversation. But an alpha male, an evolved male will come to you and say, baby, I need you to love on me a little bit better, a little bit more in this area. It's something I'm taking responsibility for. But if you want to support me as I take responsibility for my own healing, this is the way to do it. A little bit extra reassurance. Be out with your girls, a little bit more transparency and clarity before you go out, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what an unevolved man will do is, as you get ready to do whatever you do, he may start getting distant, getting a little antsy, and then afterwards blame you, accuse you, suppose that you're doing this, that, and the other. He might even do it before you go out if he really just does not want you to go do it. Because I feel like every single time you're going to go meet that dude, that's who's really going to be there. One of your exes is going to be there. These guys is going to be there. A man will accuse you in advance. Y'all ever got ready to do something? Your man was like, and instead of saying, I'm uncomfortable because this ain't right, but I'm struggling, and I just, if you're willing to have some grace and patience with me, I'll get over it eventually, but right now I'm not there. Instead of saying that, he just accused you in advance of what you're going to do, you from going forth and living your life. Instead of taking ownership and putting it on him, he put it on you and your intentions. If I'm speaking facts, y'all let me know. If I'm speaking facts, y'all let me know. A man will accuse you in advance. That you risk making this a thing. And don't get me wrong, there are times in your relationship where you're probably gonna say, hey, look, man, I don't want to create battles that ain't worth fighting. And that's fine. That's fine. That's healthy. I'm gonna choose this battle in advance. But again, if it comes by way of manipulation, of blame game, of blame shifting, accusation, and you ain't did nothing wrong, I'm telling you right now, there's an insecurity at the root. And again, this can be from unhealed wounds of the past relationship. This can be from his childhood trauma. I'm not saying he's of a man because he deals with those things. Handles it, tells you everything you need to know about who you're dealing with. I'm all for, as a man, you having your struggles. I'm not on some pedestal. I got my struggles. We all got some struggles. But how do you handle those struggles? Do you project them on the person that's trying to love you in a way that breaks them and deteriorates them and lessens them and causes them to be paranoid and consumed with all of the fears and things like that because you haven't done the work on you? Is that what you do about those insecurities and struggles? Or do you take ownership and then just simply let your partner know how to support you? You see, that's what a healthy partner will do. Hey, I'm healing. This is the environment that I can continue healing in, and this is the part you can play in that environment. That's an emotionally competent, evolved man. So my camera's struggling to focus. Thank you. It should be good now. Thank you, Jay. He said, wow, did he really had the whole argument with himself? Absolutely. And I'm going to give you one more reason. I'm going to give you one more reason why a man will accuse you endlessly. Because we don't like to talk about this one, but usually it's the man's karma. You see, if a man has played the game where he has compromised other men's woman, I don't think we understand that we develop a very difficult battle to win in the future whenever we fall for somebody. When we're that man. When a man, let's say, I'm just trying to figure out a nice way to say it where I don't disrespect nobody, but I just got to say it real however it's coming to me. When the man go out here taking pride in stealing the other man's girl, when the man go out here take pride in preying on a woman's vulnerability, knowing that she's in a relationship, of course the onus is on the woman. Y'all know I'm your big brother. I ain't coming to tickle your ears and tell you that you ain't accountable for nothing that you do wrong. However, as a man, if we know that girl is in a relationship, but she's going through, I don't care if he works, husband, ex-boy, we sit there and prey on that woman's vulnerability and that weak point in her decision-making because she's in survival mode right now based on what she's dealing with in her relationship, and we pounce on that. We don't realize the karma is that one day we're going to have a woman and she's not always going to be up. No matter how great, she may have a time where she's not good. She may have a time where we're not on good terms. And all you're doing as a man is creating distrust on the back end. And so how does this play out for you as his woman in current day? He gonna blame you. Because he gonna remember that woman that was good that he compromised. Oh, he wanted to get his ego stroked. He wanted to get his penis wet. So yeah, he went ahead, played on that girl's vulnerabilities, put it in her ear that her dude was doing something wrong that he probably wasn't doing, put it in her ear that she could have a much better life with him. All of the dreams that he sold her has now created a nightmare for him where he can't even trust you. Because if he was able to play that game with a woman that honestly didn't want to play around, didn't want to do nothing wrong, but she fell for it, he gonna be in his mind thinking there's another man out here probably got better game than I got. There's another man out here who probably talk better than I talk or got better money than I got. And now he's created a situation where he'll forever be unable to trust even a trustworthy woman. And that's the karma. He done went out here compromising everybody else woman, wives, girlfriends, etc. knowingly, by the way. Thought it was so funny until the rabbit got the gun. Now he in a situation where he's not this perfect guy himself in a relationship. Y'all ain't always on good terms, but he's attached to you. Whether you want to call it love or whatever, he's attached to you, meaning it would really, really hurt him if you were to go out and do what he had those other women doing. And now he can't trust you. So he blame you, he accuse you. And he's, again, looking somewhat for reassurance, but he's also looking to create detachment from you with the expectation you can't possibly resist if somebody does to you what he did to those women back in the day. He's trying to create the detachment. If I can come up with some nonsense, put some nonsense on her, maybe it won't hurt so bad when she does whatever she does. If I can kind of fortify the expectation somehow that she's going to play in my face. Again, all of this is internal. All of this is internal. This has nothing to do with you. This does not mean that you're moving out here shiesty. This does not mean that you're being untrustworthy. Am I making sense to anybody? Am I making sense to anybody? Put facts if I'm making sense to you. Or fiction if I'm just talking nonsense. If you feel like Dion, you're talking some BS. Put facts if I'm talking real. If you picking up what I'm putting down. You see, when you get these men and they used to be playboys back in the day and you also got to assess the ethics. Don't just think like, okay, I got a dude and he used to have his women. Okay, most men have. Actually, I would say 95% of men at some point, if they're desirable, have had a space where they didn't put proper value on women, myself included. That's why I can educate you because I've been on that side of the tracks. Assess what impact did that have on him? As men, we like to look at a woman's body count. And I know a lot of men try to act like they don't care. Some men don't, but a lot of men do. And the reason why, beyond just ego, it says the pattern, right? It says what impact did that have on you that you had X amount of guys in your past? And I don't think y'all should be really having an in-depth conversation. If you want to reveal your body count, that's on you. Cool. If not, cool. But I think it would be wise for you as a woman to assess what has been the nature of this man's dating experience. What was his path to where he's at now? What is he most familiar with? Because that's what's most deeply ingrained. Unless he's done something to change it and he's addressed it, just time by itself don't change nothing. That's why you see they stuck in the same old ways they was at when they was teenagers. If somebody tell you some nonsense that was on back in the day and there's zero space where they've rehabbed that issue that they were dealing with, it's still there. It's still there. It's just waiting to be resurfaced. It's just waiting to be triggered right back to the surface for you to deal with. Make no mistake. Time does not heal a damn thing if we don't do anything while we're spending that time. But back to what I was saying, if a man had a certain nature of dating and dealing with, and it lacked ethics and it lacked morale, if it lacked consideration, if it lacked all of these things, that created something. There was an impact there. He didn't just have his fun and then leave it in the past. It has now created a thought process. That's why if you talk to I'm probably not going to talk to him, but I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries, and yes, I've known some myself. But if you talk to somebody who was in a pimp, or you notice, and y'all can get mad at me all you want to, but there's a certain level of dissonance, of detachment that they have a difficult time overcoming. They can't even get close to somebody the way others can. If or whatever, if they've even been a porn star, if they've been inside of it, they have a very difficult time connecting with somebody. If you meet a man who's addicted to pornography, trying to say it so they don't be flagging my stuff, but that person has a very difficult time connecting to you when it comes. If you meet somebody that was flipping these girls and compromising these girls, manipulating and tricking these girls over and over and over again, guess what? He doesn't believe in a woman's competence. He doesn't believe in a woman's loyalty. I guarantee you, unless something has taken place to help him turn the corner and see things differently, he does not believe in a woman's competence. He took it as a challenge, and because he overcame those challenges he never was supposed to be trying to overcome, he's going to have a very difficult time seeing you any differently. And therefore, you'll receive a man who's constantly blaming you, because the single most defining characteristic of the human personality is for us to remain consistent with what we believe to be true about ourselves and about others. He's going to constantly try to bring you into familiarity. I know I'm getting kind of deep here, so I'll bring it back more to the surface level, because only some of y'all can handle this real stuff that I'm saying. Only some of y'all going in my master classes, man. I'm getting hot in there. I'm over here sweating like a preacher. This is why I go in depth on my master classes, because there are so many nuances to the game. And if you don't understand it, especially as a woman, especially as an empathic woman, already nurturing energy and a spirit about you. But if you're lead with how you can increase others, your love seeks to benefit others before it seeks to even protect yourself. That's why you constantly end up in relationships and friendships where you get burnt out, drop down on the priority list. You know, you get kind of left behind because your self-esteem is low. That is not misinterpretation, but the truth is, because with an empathic heart, there's a certain priority whenever you love, and it never has you first. You're not very selfish, even in times where you should be. And so you attract people who are selfish, because you're the easiest prey. You're the easiest target. And there are traps that you would get. Man, you would get caught up in traps just by being a good-hearted, loyal person. Even worse if you're an empath. Now, if you want more conversation on that, I talked about it in my free masterclass, the 7 traps empaths should never ignore. If you see a link at the bottom, wherever you're looking at it, maybe at the top. If you're on YouTube, it'll be at the top. Instagram, just look for the prompt to get the link before that masterclass comes down. The 7 traps empaths should never ignore. Because what I've seen is those who lead with love, that seeks to benefit, the selflessness nature of you, because you never had somebody to be there for you, so you never want somebody else to feel like you're not there for them. You have your blessings blocked, if not delayed at best. You have your love wasted, the best years of your life wasted. If you're not keen to the red flags, then a man is really just setting you up for the okie doke. And now you all either soul tied up or heartbroken and afraid to date again, discouraged to date again, because you gave your heart to somebody whose hands weren't big enough to hold it and protect it. Just keeping it real with you. Again, I just put the link. Yes. Layla. Yeah, the link is down here. If you're on Facebook, I don't know where you're watching it. The link is right here. Register to that and then come back, because I'm finishing up. Moral of the story is this. If a man is blaming you, and he can't qualify why, he can't tell you exactly what it is. He may lack some emotional competence to be able to communicate. Okay, yeah, that's like 5% of the time. 95% of the time. It's because that man is trying to set you up to forgive him in the future. He's guilty about something he's already doing. He's got so many insecurities, because he has unworthiness he hasn't dealt with from his past trauma, his unhealed relationship. Maybe he just watching too many YouTube videos and TikToks of women that's getting away with nonsense, or he's facing karma for the years he spent deceiving and manipulating other women. So he knows that his karma is coming somehow, some way. And now he's blaming you. And all I say is this: you do with this information what you will. I'm just your big brother. I'm not your guru. I'm not your pastor. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. To some of y'all, I'm coach, but to everybody. But I'm just telling you, you could either spend your life trying to overcome all of these senseless, not like completely just not accurate blaming games, or you could position yourself as somebody who's ready to love you because they've done the work on themselves. And at absolute worst, they can at least communicate to you what they need in order for you to support the work that they're continuing to do. Only you can decide what it is you're worthy of. But don't talk about it. Let your actions do the speaking. Those are just my thoughts. I'm your internet big brother per usual, looking out for you. If you got something of value from this, all I ask, again, this is free game, but I do ask that you hit the share button. If you see a little arrow or something like that at the bottom, hit the share button so somebody else can be blessed by this the same way that you did. Don't be selfish. And if you want access, somebody looking for the Penny's looking for the link, access to the empath should never ignore, unless you just like walking blindly into heartbreak and embarrassment and humiliation. Okay, cool. But if not, I would highly encourage you to hit that link, register, watch that for about an hour. Get you some wine, get comfortable, because I went in for about an hour on how to peep the games that people will play on long before you get to that point. And if you already have, on how to get out of that trap and stay out for good. Again, that link to the free masterclass is right there. It's also at the top. But I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be good.